Have you ever walked into a salon and been told that mirrors, or anything that reflects, are strictly forbidden? Would you still sit down for your appointment or quietly walk away? Well, let's find out why. In Yasha's story, Yasha owned one of the most popular hair salons in the town of Umuzi. Everyone knew her, not just for her bright smile, but for her lightning-fast hands. While other stylists could take an entire day, sometimes even two, to finish a single hairstyle, Yasha could complete the same look in just 1 hour. Her speed was legendary. Her braids were neat, beautiful, and flawless, as if touched by magic itself. Customers lined up before sunrise, waiting for their turn. They adored Yasha, the woman who made them look perfect without wasting their whole day. But in Yasha's salon, there was one strange rule that no one dared to question. A rule that said, no mirrors, no reflections, not even a phone screen. Anyone who wanted Yasha to braid their hair had to obey that rule, or leave. That rule, the no mirror rule, wasn't just a suggestion in Yasha's salon, it was law. Yasha guarded it with the seriousness of a priest guarding a sacred temple. The moment you stepped to her salon door, she would stop you, her eyes sharp, her voice firm. Please check your bag. Make sure you have nothing that can reflect light. No mirrors, no glass, not even your phone screen. She inspected every client carefully before letting them in. People often whispered about it, wondering why a hairdresser would ban mirrors of all things. But no one ever dared to ask. After all, Yasha's hands were magical, and as long as their hair came out beautiful, clean, and fast, they didn't care what strange rule she kept. But tell me, dear viewer, have you ever met a stylist, a vendor, or anyone with such a strange, unbreakable rule? One bright morning, a young woman named Adu walked into Yasha's salon for the first time. Adu was beautiful, confident, and completely unaware of the rule. She had no idea what was waiting for her that day. As Adu stepped inside the salon, one of Yasha's assistants did what they always did, checked her bag carefully. But this time, they forgot to check her pockets. Adu took a seat, excited to have her hair braided by the famous Yasha. As Yasha began parting her hair, Adu reached into her pocket and pulled out a small hand mirror, a tiny piece of glass she carried everywhere. She only wanted to show Yasha the exact style she had in mind. But the moment that glimmer of reflection caught Yasha's eye, everything changed. Yasha froze, then screamed. Greater than, how dare you? Who told you to bring a mirror into my salon? Didn't you hear the rule? Reflections are not allowed here. The entire salon went silent. Startled, Adu immediately stood up and apologized. I'm so sorry. I didn't know. She rushed outside and threw the little glass far away. Desperate to get her hair done quickly, she didn't dare ask Yasha why such a strange rule existed. Within an hour, Yasha's magical hands finished Adu's braids, fast, flawless, and beautiful as always. Adu left the salon smiling, though a little uneasy about what had just happened. And you, dear viewer, you must be wondering, why would someone run a salon without mirrors? But before we dive deeper, allow me to say this. If you're new here, please hit that subscribe button and join our growing family. And if you're one of my returning viewers, hey, welcome back. You already know how much I appreciate you. Now, back to the story. A few days later, another young lady named Zuri arrived in the town of Umuzi. She'd heard amazing things about Yasha's salon and couldn't wait to have her hair braided. When she walked in, Yasha smiled politely and said, Before we begin, remember, no mirrors, no reflections of any kind. Zuri frowned. Greater than, wait, what? A salon without mirrors? How am I supposed to see what you're doing to my hair? Yasha's tone was calm but firm. Greater than, you don't need to worry, I never get hairstyles wrong. But if you can't obey my rule, I can't make your hair. Zuri crossed her arms, frustrated but curious. She had never seen such confidence or such stubbornness from a hairdresser before. So she walked away. But that decision would soon lead her into a mystery she could never have imagined. Zuri had always been a curious soul, the kind of woman who couldn't rest until she found answers. And this strange, no mirror rule from Yasha's salon, it just didn't sit right with her. Her curiosity burned stronger with every passing day. So, she decided to go back. The next morning, Zuri returned to Yasha's salon. She apologized politely, saying, "I'm sorry for walking out earlier. I understand your rule now, and I promise to follow it this time." Yasha hesitated for a moment, then nodded. As Zuri sat down, she watched closely. Yasha's fingers moved with astonishing speed, weaving, twisting, braiding, faster than the human eye could follow. It was as if her hands were being guided by something unseen. Then Zuri heard it. A faint whisper. Something like a voice. Low and cold, echoing just behind Yasha. Her heart skipped. She leaned forward and asked softly, "Yasha, how do you do it?" "No one works as fast as you. What kind of gift is this?" Yasha smiled gently without looking up. "Greater than, it's just a talent I was born with." But Zuri wasn't convinced. That whisper, it wasn't normal. Something about this salon felt haunted. Music deepens. Drums begin softly. The very next day, Zuri traveled to a nearby town to visit an elderly woman, a spiritual seer known for her wisdom and divine insight. Zuri told her everything. The rule, the whispers, the speed, every unsettling detail. The old woman closed her eyes for a moment, then spoke in a trembling voice. "My child, Yasha's gift is not from the heavens. She is being helped by an evil spirit," Zuri gasped. "Greater than, that spirit gives her unnatural speed," the old woman continued. "But every braid she makes feeds its power. It grows stronger with every head she touches." The truth hit Zuri like a storm. The woman went on to explain that Yasha wasn't evil. She was a prisoner. Her mother, long ago, had made a dark pact with a spirit. In exchange for fortune and skill, the spirit would use Yasha's hands once she became a woman. When Yasha grew older, she learned the truth. But there was no escape. The spirit would not let her go. And worst of all, if anyone ever saw that spirit's reflection in a mirror while Yasha was working, she would die instantly. That's why Yasha's rule was so strict. Not out of pride, but out of fear. Music softens. Hopeful tone emerges. Zuri's heart ached for her. She couldn't leave Yasha trapped like that. She wanted to free her, not expose her. So she begged the old woman for help. "Greater than, please," she said, "tell me what I can do. There must be a way to save her." The woman nodded and brought out a small mirror, beautifully framed, glowing faintly with golden carvings. "Greater than this," the woman said, "is a sacred mirror. It does not reflect light. It reflects spirits. If you use it wisely, it can trap the demon that binds her." Zuri took the mirror carefully, her hands trembling. The old woman warned her, "You must be brave. When the time comes, hold this mirror high. Let it face Yasha as she works. The spirit will appear, and you must not look away." And with that, Zuri left for Umuzi, ready to face whatever darkness hid behind Yasha's beautiful braids. Zuri returned to Yasha's salon one last time, the sacred mirror hidden carefully in her bag. As she stepped inside, Yasha looked up nervously. Her hands trembled. Zuri took a deep breath and said, "Yasha, I know everything. About the spirit, about your mother's pact. But I'm here to help you, not to judge you." For a moment, Yasha's eyes filled with fear. Then, relief. She had been waiting her whole life for someone brave enough to help her. Together, they prepared. Zuri brought out the glowing mirror, its surface rippling like water. Yasha's voice shook as she whispered, "If this works, I'll finally be free." Following the old woman's instructions, Zuri slowly turned the mirror around the salon, letting its golden light touch every corner. At first, everything was silent. Then the air grew cold. A shadow began to move, invisible, yet heavy. A deep, angry hiss filled the room. The spirit had realized what was happening. "You dare betray me, Yasha!" it thundered, its voice echoing from nowhere and everywhere. Yasha screamed as invisible winds swirled around her, knocking over chairs and combs. Zuri held the mirror steady. even as it began to glow brighter, blindingly bright, pulling the spirit toward it like a storm. The creature fought back, twisting and screaming, clawing at the air. But the sacred mirror's power was stronger. In one final, ear-shattering cry, the spirit was dragged into the mirror, trapped within its shining surface. And then, silence. Yasha fell to her knees, tears streaming down her face. She looked up at Zuri with trembling lips. Greater than, "It's gone. I can't feel it anymore. I'm free." Without hesitation, Zuri lifted the mirror and smashed it to the ground. The glass shattered into 1,000 tiny pieces, and with it, the evil spirit was destroyed forever. Yasha burst into tears of joy, clutching Zuri's hands. "Thank you, Zuri. You have no idea what you've done for me. That spirit didn't just control my work. It controlled my life. It stopped me from marrying, from living, from being human." She smiled for the first time in years. A real peaceful smile. Greater than, "Now I can finally live again. I owe you everything." For the first time in years, Yasha felt truly alive. The weight she had carried since childhood, the invisible chains of fear and darkness, were finally gone. She could laugh again. She could breathe again. She could live again. Zuri, standing beside her, felt a deep sense of peace and gratitude. She had not only freed Yasha, she had proven that compassion and courage could conquer even the darkest of spirits. From that day forward, Yasha's salon changed completely. Mirrors were no longer banned. In fact, her clients loved the new look of the place. Bright, open, and full of joy. People came not just to get their hair braided, but to see the woman who had overcome an evil curse through faith and friendship. To celebrate her freedom, Yasha organized a grand feast in Umuzi. There was music, laughter, dancing, and tears of joy. Every braid that day wasn't just a hairstyle. It was a symbol of victory. Zuri and Yasha became inseparable friends after that. They often spoke about that day. The daylight triumphed over darkness. And that, dear viewer, is how the story of Yasha, the hairstylist who once banned mirrors, finally came to an end. This story teaches us 3 important lessons. First, always respect people's rules and boundaries. But if a rule feels wrong or unnatural, don't be afraid to question it. Second, bravery, wisdom, and friendship can break even the strongest chains of fear. And finally, never suffer in silence. When life feels heavy, speak up, seek help, and light will always thank you so much for watching. My name is your channel name, e.g., Anna of Tales and Folktales, and I truly appreciate your time and support. If you haven't already, please click that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and join our growing family of storytellers. Plus, subscribe my channel